Welcome to the Asbestos Knowledge Empire.
What does asbestos management mean to you?
I used to really struggle with the asbestos management at my site, but now it's a breeze.
It used to be really expensive. I was paying loads, but now I've got my asbestos power team in place. It's so much easier.
Asbestos can be a pain in the arse if not handled right.
We had to stop the job because asbestos was discovered. Now we don't have that problem.
Asbestos management is easier than you think. Asbestos management. Be proactive, not reactive. Think about asbestos first, not last.
And now your hosts, best-selling authors and asbestos experts, Ian Stone and Neil Munro.
Welcome to the Asbestos Knowledge Empire. I'm Ian Stone.
I'm Neil Munro.
Today we're talking about the casual approach, the casual behaviour that we kind of seem to have around asbestos. I was thinking about the coronavirus recently, and just the fact that, I don't know, quite a lot of the general population are now fed up, sick to the back teeth of it, all the rest of it, which I get, but that's now led to a lot more of a relaxed approach out in general public.
Yeah, a casual a casual approach to it a little bit.
People going to the beaches, loads of people. Yeah. It's clearly you're not like 1 to 2 metres apart. I mean, I've been in shops myself where you walk along and it's almost like the good old days where people are like, oh, excuse me, and just walking straight past. And like they don't have masks on, they haven't got gloves on, all the rest of it.
I think it comes down to human behaviour and human attitudes. And it is very, very similar to, the asbestos issue and the asbestos problem that we kind of face. And I think it kind of boils down to the immediate threat. With both asbestos and coronavirus, there's no impact of, I've just caught coronavirus.
No.
And the same with asbestos.
Yeah, there's no immediate kind of health issue.
Yeah, hit by a car, that's instant.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at asbestos, the industry that we're in the UK is regulated, and another couple of regulated industries are working with explosives, working on nuclear power stations. Obviously, if things go wrong like that, like you say, straight away you get that instant feedback of possible death, severe injury, that kind of stuff. Whereas with asbestos and coronavirus, you don't get that.
And you can't see it.
No, exactly that. Yeah, there's no taste, no smell. It's not a coloured thing, or it's just like you can't see it.
Like a gas leak or something like that. You know the danger. You see the danger, or you smell the danger.
Smell it, or you see the vapour or something.
Yes.
Exactly. That is a massive problem that we have faced for years in the industry. It's trying to get that message across of asbestos kills. I mean, the WHO's figures, the World Health Organisation's figures state, I think it's something like over 107,000 people die each year. So 107,000 people are dying from asbestos-related diseases every single year.
A lot of people think it's a thing of the past, don't they?
Oh, they do. If I had a quid for every time somebody said, that was all done, wasn't it, in the 60s and 70s? Yeah, I'd have a lot of money.
Yeah. It's that perceived danger, isn't it? And like you said, with coronavirus, there is definitely a downturn on sort of taking it seriously, or it's people are fed up and don't want to take it seriously. And this is exactly the same with asbestos, isn't it?
But the key point there, I think, is the fact that people generally go, do you know what?
I'll take the risk.
I'm all right, Jack. Because and it's because you haven't got that instant feedback of, I don't know, lick your finger and put it in a socket, you're going to get a bloody shock and it's going to hurt. You'd perhaps only do that once and you wouldn't do it again. Whereas, like you say, you don't get that instant feedback of that perceived danger, exactly, that threat, that risk.
Yeah, and that's quite common with a lot of tradespeople, that I've met over the years, of that attitude, exact attitude. I used to work with it, or I've been doing that for years. Yeah. I ain't going to change. Look at me, I'm all right.
My dad used to install it, and he's all right. What's the problem? He used to put it in. And exactly that, like people, I've had loads of stories, you have as well, like people telling you, I used to cut it up with a jigsaw, I used to mix it up in a bucket, me and me mates used to have snowball fights with it, and, well, I'm all right. And it's madness because, some people are okay, but a lot of people are obviously not okay with it. And that is the issue. And I don't know how we tackle that. And it's the same thing with like the coronavirus thing. And that's just got me thinking, like, how do you keep that perception that's needed and required on point all the while? And it's a lack of education, I think.
But I think to go with that, at the beginning of the coronavirus, there was a lot of media stories, video footage, even people doing social media posts of them with coronavirus or recovering from coronavirus and sort of like looking at the state that they were in and what they've been through. And I think at the beginning that had a big impact to people.
And essentially that is education.
Yes.
Right? It is. It's about spreading the dangers, the risks, the message of how bad it can be.
And I think that's tailed off a little bit now. Well, definitely here in the UK anyway.
100%.
You know, we're not seeing the horror in the media as much, you know, and there was big talks about all the hospitals being overwhelmed, and that was a real big thing. And that kind of added to the weight of the seriousness. But that's kind of slipped away, and people thinking, oh, we didn't even use the big Nightingale hospitals that the government built.
So again, that adds to we were all right, Jack.
Oh, it's not as bad as it is. So yeah, and you can mirror that with the asbestos, can't you? Because
100%.
I don't think I've ever seen a horror story related to asbestos on kind of primetime news or anything like that.
No.
I've seen a couple of local sort of news, and I've been involved with a couple of local news filming articles. However, they were never horrific.
Yeah, some of the ones that come to my mind were fly tippers dump asbestos in down lane next to farmer's field. Like that's quite a common one. And I think the media like picking up on those little easy stories, but kind of the real stories that are out there. I mean, I don't know what it is, whether, because there is more that goes on. I mean, asbestos in fires. I'm surprised that doesn't get talked about more. I mean, recently in Northamptonshire, there was a fire, and to me, it looked like the roof was asbestos. And the fire brigade did issue a warning to people in the locality to keep your doors and windows shut for 24 hours. So that kind of says to me, all right, yeah, there's smoke and all the rest of it, but there probably was asbestos as well. But the media never seem to, whether they choose to or whether, again, it's a lack of knowledge.
Yeah. It's like going back to the news stories, you know, we've seen sort of people interviewed with maybe an asbestos-related disease, but it's kind of never at the sort of like the end.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Which, it's like the cigarette packets. Cigarette packets now have the grey boxes with a horrible picture on, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's kind of, that's what we need for asbestos. It's showing the horrors, showing the actual shock.
Yeah, bringing it to the forefront of people's mind. I mean, the closest thing that I suppose we've had in the industry was the Hidden Killer campaign from the HSE. They spent £1 million. But,
which was years ago.
Yeah, which 10 years ago. 10 years ago. Wow. It was 2010 because it coincided with the analyst guide. Okay. Yeah, and the supposed peak that is still rising. Yeah, so that was the closest thing they spent. I think it was £1 million, which, wow, that's a great number. But when you think about £1 million worth, how much media does that actually buy? Not a lot.
Not a lot of telly.
No telly.
No telly. Do you know what I mean? And it's really, if you want to get in front of people these days, there is social media and YouTube and stuff like that, but I just don't think you can still beat primetime TV.
No, you can't.
And that's never happened.
It's funny, like over the years, I remember, like when I was a kid, do you remember the fireworks campaigns?
Yes.
About like, put them in a tin, don't
Public
burn
safety.
your hand, and public safety stuff. There's been no public safety thing around asbestos, and that's the irony, right? So here in the UK, there's twice as many deaths from asbestos-related diseases than there are from road traffic accidents. But every single paper that you open up, you'll read about road traffic incidents, smash, crash, so-and-so dead, mangled, photos of like wrecks and cars burnt out and all sorts of stuff, literally every day. Yet you never open the paper to like discover about asbestos, which is killing twice as many people.
Yeah, but that's kind of in a horrible sort of way that sells newspapers and stuff, doesn't it? Like people in kind of sick way like to look at stuff like that.
No, they do. Well, look at what happens on the motorway when somebody crashes. Everyone rubbernecks, and everyone just slows down, and which causes more accidents. It's ridiculous, but no, you're right, and that's the thing with asbestos. There isn't the gratuitous scenes that you can look at as such.
Yeah, we all say asbestos is not sexy. It's not a sexy subject, and
no.
In all aspects of it, it's not. It's really not. Although it's a really serious subject and it is a killer, people don't want to know.
No.
They don't want to read about that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like just brush it under the carpet. Don't want to face that that issue,
Yeah.
because we don't have to, because it's not an immediate threat.
Thingy, sticking your head in the sand, like routine. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's that issue, that risk, and bury your head in the sand, and that's it. And it's like, just ignore it. And then at the back of your mind, people also think, oh, I'm all right.
Yeah, and I think it comes down to a kind of, I feel like I'm repeating myself here again, but that's what we constantly do, isn't it? It kind of comes down to the regulations and stuff. The law is there.
Yep.
It's actually there to protect people.
It's enshrined in law.
But the trouble is, no one bloody knows about it.
No one knows
It's
about
ridiculous.
it. And also, as well, I think there aren't enough people enforcing that law.
Yeah, double-sided on that, isn't it?
Like, if you go out and you're driving at the motorway and you're speeding, more than likely you're going to get done by either cameras or police officers.
Yeah.
If you go out and you flout the asbestos laws, there's no one really checking, unless you're doing a big project and you get a visit from the HSE or a complaint comes in or environmental health come, which, I mean, I don't know what the numbers are on environmental health officers and HSE officers now, but it's a mere few thousand. And when you think about how many construction projects that are going on every single day across the country, domestic jobs, private jobs, big commercial jobs, literally there's just hundreds of thousands of those jobs going on. Millions, probably.
Yeah. I looked at the HSE's kind of plan for 2019, 2020. Obviously, that's probably gone a bit awry around the coronavirus. However, they planned in a big focus across construction sites about respiratory instances and protection for workers. And I was like, okay, that's good. So it did actually mention asbestos on there, and then obviously other dusts and stuff like that. I kind of thought to myself, that's good. They've mentioned it in there, but surely
It should be a standalone.
Surely that should be there every time. Do you know what I mean? We're going to do a bit this year on that. That kind of should be a focus.
It should be part of a national campaign
Yeah.
until it's gone or until people aren't being affected of it anymore.
Yeah. Or it's ingrained into the whole society. That is a thing.
Well, that's it. And part of ingraining, coming back to what we said earlier, is all about education. And we've done talks at colleges and universities on asbestos because the lecturers have brought us in because they don't really cover asbestos in any great shakes.
Yeah.
And if it's not being brought in at college level when people are learning their trade as chippies and plumbers, well, how the hell are they going to protect themselves properly?
I think it was it's just a small element of health and safety, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's literally, they spend very little time on it.
Like, the whole course is something stupid, like, I don't know, 20 minutes. Yeah, asbestos, it's in materials, and you should have a survey done, wear a mask, crack on. And that's about it, which is crazy. And that's why it is such an issue, and it's going to continue being such an issue because there's the lack of knowledge, lack of education that's out there. We need to get this message out there and, I don't know, just really push it to the forefront. Like we said, like the coronavirus thing happened at the beginning because for asbestos, it's definitely tailed off pretty much into insignificance.
Yeah.
Only those that know are actually getting us in and getting us involved with their projects.
And I kind of worry, obviously, we're about to hit probably the worst recession ever seen across the whole world.
Health and safety is not going to be up there.
Exactly that. It's not going to be on their government's kind of priority list, is it?
No.
And particularly more important in the UK is obviously we're about to obviously Brexit and all that stuff. And again, where's asbestos going to fall? And general health and safety, where's that going to fall in the priority of the government creating new regulations coming out of this recession? So, yeah, I really don't know where it's going to leave us and people's safety.
No, exactly. And I think you're right. I think it's going to take a turn for the worst because times are going to get harder. People are going to shortcut things and look at perhaps flouting rules, regulations because they could do something cheaper. Getting non-tradespeople in to deal with asbestos, fly tipping asbestos, all sorts of those things, they happen in times of kind of economic downturn. And like you say, this is going to be one of the worst ones, I think. well, they're predicting ever, or the last 300 years for us anyway. But we'll wait and see. But I mean, I suppose the point is we really want to get the education out there about asbestos and the risks around it.
It's why we do this podcast.
It is.
Yeah, just to try and educate people about the dangers, how to stay safe. So yeah, if you have got any problems, got any issues, concerns, need any help with your asbestos, you know where to find us.
Yeah, just contact us on our Facebook page or through Acorn Analytical Services, and we'll gladly have a chat and help sort you out. And likewise, if you think somebody else will learn from this podcast or gain a bit of information, please share it amongst your friends and colleagues.
Yeah, we have just put together an asbestos management training video, which has gone live on our website, acornas.com. So if you do want a bit more education, go to that webpage and check it out.
If you need anything, just reach out to us. Remember, asbestos first, not last.